Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a fascinating topic to discuss, the second conditional. We already learned about the zero and first conditionals in this video. You can see a link in the top right corner. Now it's time to learn about the second conditional. Have you ever wondered how to talk about hypothetical situations or unreal possibilities in English? Well, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of the second conditional, so let's dive in. The second conditional is a grammatical structure we use to talk about hypothetical, unreal, or imaginary situations in the present or future. We use it when we want to imagine what might happen if a particular condition is met. It's my son's favorite conditional. Mom, do you know what I would do if I were a dinosaur? Mom, if I were a superhero, I would save the world from the bad guys. The second conditional has two parts. The if clause, which expresses the condition, and the main clause, which expresses the consequence or result of that condition. It allows us to imagine different outcomes based on specific conditions. It's a way to explore possibilities and express our desires and dreams. Now let's take a closer look at the structure of the second conditional. In the if clause, we use the simple past tense of the verb. And in the main clause, we normally use the modal verb would followed by the base form of the verb, but we can also use some other modal verbs like could or might in the main clause. To make it easier to understand, let's see some examples. Imagine you have a superpower. What would it be? We can use the second conditional to express our answer. If I had a superpower, it would be the ability to fly. In this example, we are talking about a hypothetical situation where having a superpower is the condition, because having Marvel Universe-like superpowers is impossible as far as I know. Here, had is the simple past tense in the if clause, and the main clause, which would be the ability to fly, expresses our desire. Now let's imagine that your coworker asks you a question like, would you be able to help me with this project? You don't necessarily need to use would in the answer. You could say something like, if I had more time, I might be able to help you, but I'm all wrapped up. You don't necessarily need to use would in the answer. You could use metal. This means that you have so much work that you don't have time to work on something else besides your tasks. If you used would here, it would mean that you're certain that if you had more time, you would help. However, using might expresses uncertainty. So not only don't you have time, but you're also not even sure that you are, for example, knowledgeable enough to be able to help. But it's possible that you would try. And this answer is hypothetical because in reality, you don't have time for this. Let's take a look at another example. If I had more time, I would learn how to play the guitar. This example means that you don't have enough free time, but you're imagining what you would do with that free time if you had it. It reflects a desire to pursue a hobby or develop a new skill if given the opportunity. Let's take one more example. If I spoke fluent Mandarin, I could work as an interpreter in China. If I spoke fluent Mandarin, I could work in the citrus department of the citrus emergencies. As you can see, we use the modal verb could instead of would to express the possible scenario or result of my imaginary condition. In this example, the condition is speaking fluent Mandarin, which is currently not the case. That's why this is a hypothetical situation. The consequence of speaking Mandarin fluently could be my ability to work as an interpreter in China. Could shows that I consider using my language skills for this specific purpose, and I imagine that something like this could be possible for me. Now let's practice forming more second conditional together to reinforce what we've learned. It's important to remember that we are talking about imaginary scenarios. not things that are likely to happen. It helps us express our imagination, desires, and unreal possibilities. It's a useful tool for storytelling and even making polite requests. It is not used for situations that are likely or possible in reality. We use the first conditional for real or probable future situations. Remember that in the if clause, we use the simple past tense, and in the main clause, we use would followed by the base form of the verb. Okay, here's the first one. If it rained tomorrow, what would you do? Take a moment to think about your answer and let's share it together. All right, time's up. Here's the possible answer. If it rained tomorrow, we would have a cozy movie night indoors. Let's do another one. If you had more free time, what would you do with it? Take a moment to think about your answer. You could also write your answer down to have a visual if it's easier for you. All right, time's up. Here's my answer. If I had more free time, I would travel the world. And the last one. Imagine if it started to snow tomorrow. What would you do? Take a few moments to think about your answer. All right, here's my answer. If it snowed tomorrow, I would be very surprised as it's almost summer. Congratulations, you've successfully learned about the second conditional. Now go out there and practice using it in your English conversations. The more you use it, the more natural it'll become. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English learning videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.